Bum, 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 bum. Hi, I'm Bernardo Zepp, and this is the 5th episode of DapCast. Just kidding. A podcast in which on Tuesdays I talk about something that's going on in my mind, which is happening today, but on Thursdays I also upload podcasts about a book that I read. Today is May 9th, the time is 4:17 p.m. I know I'm doing this a little bit ahead of time, but it's fine. The topic for today is be proactive. And I got the topic from a book that I'm reading, which is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a really good book, but I'm still reading it, so I'm not gonna make my Thursday podcast about the book. I'm just gonna talk about one habit that really caught my attention, which is the first one, the only one that I read so far. He says that being proactive is knowing that our behaviors is a function of our decisions, not our conditions, and knowing that we have the initiative and responsibility for making it happen. He says that on life we either act or we will be acted upon. So that means that if you don't take the action, if you don't go ahead and do it, if you wait for someone else to do it for you, or for someone else to tell you to do something, or for someone else to ask for you to do something, you're being acted upon. You're not acting. You're not being proactive. You're being reactive. Or if I only had that, only if I had that camera, I would be able to make good videos. Only if I had that computer, I would be able to make great videos. People that excuse, those are reactive people. And proactive people think, let's look at another perspective, at another alternative. Or for example, they don't say I need a camera to make a good video. They say I'm patient. I can wait until I have that camera. And for now, I'll just use my cell phone and I'll still make a good video. He also talks about how people tend to make excuses. So he mentioned an example of someone saying like, oh, I have to, for example, someone saying I can't go to school because I have a soccer game and I have to travel for it. And you don't have to go to the soccer game. You choose to go to the soccer game. It's a matter of taking the responsibility for your actions. So instead of saying I have to go, you say I choose to go to the match and miss the class. You're choosing to do that. You're not doing that because you have to. And people who are reactive tend to blame other people. So they never like to take responsibility for their mistakes. They try to guilt someone else. While people who are proactive, they think about their problems in a different way. So if they have the direct control of that problem, they're gonna change their habit and they're gonna solve their problem. So for example, you're not happy with your health, you're, let's say, fat, for example. You're gonna change your habit, you're gonna eat healthier, you're gonna go to the gym, and you're gonna lose weight. Those are proactive people. So if you have indirect control, you're gonna try to gain influence on that problem, so it becomes direct. Not direct, but it will become more direct than it used to be. So for example, if you don't like your boss, you gotta find a way to make them impressed, so they naturally treat you better. And when you have no control of a problem, you have the responsibility to change. So for example, you are in an environment in which you don't like the people surrounding you, negative people, for example. What do? You don't blame them. You just smile and you say, oh, I'm happy. I'm not unhappy, I'm happy. That's how you work on that kind of problem. The problem that you don't have control on, you just accept it and you learn how to live with it. So basically, being proactive means taking full-on responsibility for your mistakes and learning how to live with your problems, either solving them or just accepting them if they're out of your control. So not making excuses, not blaming other people. Those are all habits of proactive people. And the author also says that between wanting to do something and actually doing something, we have a choice. And doing it or not is our choice. For example, 2 or 3, I think 2.5 months ago, I started this podcast. It was a Friday. I was at school, I was reading a book. I was like, what will happen if I create a podcast? Wouldn't that be great? I want to make a podcast. On that same Friday, I sat down and recorded the introduction. I didn't even know how podcast worked. I figured it out. So if I waited for someone to tell me to do the podcast, I would be acting in a reactive way, not in a proactive way, which is what he tells you to do, to be more effective, because that's the title of the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I'll probably come back with this book for a review as soon as I'm done with the book, maybe on this Thursday. It's because I'm recording this podcast a week before, so I don't know. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/RenatoZap, videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at RenatoZap_. The link is in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, but if you're listening to the podcast, just search it up at RenatoZap_, Twitter and Instagram. So that's it. I hope you liked this podcast. If you did, make sure to share it with your friends. And I'll see you guys on the next one.